and welcome back, this time with the redraw. This is the original file, and this is the final art. We hope you enjoy the speed paint. Here I started with the line art. I made sure to keep it as close to the original as I possibly could. This design was actually really fun to make since it's been so long since we did the very first one. The very first one was created January 5th in 2017, and we just finished this one. So it's kind of interesting to see our process after 3 years. Up next is planning out the web. I used the symmetry tool for this on horizontally and vertically just so I could see how it would work with the design, and then I took off the reference to see the individual strands and to see how the entire webbing would work. The silver studs. I got really inspired in being able to recreate silver, so I had a lot of fun with this part. The spider. I had a lot of fun sketching this, and I really love how the final render ended up. Here I'm inking the spider. This part helps because it makes clean line art and it lets me focus on the edges. Working on the rendering. So this is always fun because I get to see how the colors all work out and where the lights and shadows go. I did notice that there were spots and I was really excited to draw them in. Adding highlights. Now working on the rest of the spider. I started with the dark blue to map out the highlights. I darkened that blue up with a little bit of purple for the shadows. Here I'm adding the final highlights on top just to see how everything works together. On top I added a black overlay just to mix all the colors together, and onwards with the legs. I start mapping out where the joints are in a yellow-orange color. I refine those shapes. And I start adding shadows. Start adding in segments. And adding highlights to those. Next is mapping out the hairs. I do this in a red-orange color for the shadows, and a light yellow for the highlights. Finishing out the hairs. I do this in a dark color then just continue changing and modifying the color until I finally like it. I go in adding more hairs. I'm just sculpting out the facial features here, just to get a sense of depth and how shapes form to create the face. Adding highlights to the skull. Working on the slime. I got really inspired by passion fruits, so I decided to include the seeds. I feel like it gives it more of a Halloween vibe. For the seeds, I used a dark yellow-green to plan out where they would go. And then I just continue to add and refine to them. Adding in the highlights. Adding in more shadows, this helps bring out the highlights better. I started with the dark brown color and then added dark forest green on top. Up next is the web, adding some shadows and some light. Checking out final details. And we're done! Here you can see a preview of how our design looks on the product. Thank you for watching!